Welcome to Ethan's Garage. We are currently in Italy, in a small little village, or I'm not even sure if you quite call it a village. It's basically just factories here. But this street may be pretty unassuming, but I'm sure you've probably seen some videos on this if you're a total car nerd, because right there is the headquarters and factory and museum for Pagani. I'm extremely excited to show you guys this today. I actually just filmed another video touring Maranello, so I'll link to that right here or something. Let's check this out. And here's the headquarters. I'm gonna peek through the grate real quick because that there is the first time I've ever seen a Pagani Utopia. It is, of course, stunningly beautiful. What a magnificent machine. Also, Lamborghini is pretty close. I'm probably going to be checking that out next and possibly having that in this video. And I was just looking up ahead of the road, and I unfortunately didn't catch it on film, but either Revuelto or maybe actually a Sion just drove by, which is pretty wild. So I have sort of a sad update for you guys. The museum's actually closed, even though it's supposed to be open, because I guess there's a private event today. So closed at 1, so kind of a bummer. But I'm going to show you what I can, and then we're going to go over to Lamborghini and check that out. It's kind of interesting what flags they have here. Saudi Arabia, I'm sure there's lots of customers there. China, also probably lots of customers. Then they have German, probably for the AMG engine, of course Italian, and then Argentine for the home country of Horacio Pagani himself. Well, I'm now back on the road and heading to the Lamborghini museum / factory. It's only about 10 miles from the Pagani factory, which it's crazy how close everything is together here. Obviously this is a very big area for auto manufacturing, but part of the Pagani Lamborghini being so close is the fact that Horacio Pagani actually worked at Lamborghini originally, so he's part of the reason there's so much carbon fiber in Lamborghinis going back as far as like the 70s, I think. So we are almost at Sant'agata Bolognese, aka the headquarters of Lamborghini. These roads are super tight, but beautiful landscape out here though. It's very, very enjoyable, and thankfully the weather's pretty nice too, especially for December. Beautiful area here. The Lamborghini headquarters and museum is not even half a mile over there. Wow, there it is. Honestly,
right.
Very impressive. Okay, I get it, GPS, chill. Yet there's still Ferraris and Lambos. And here we go for the museum. Now that I'm on foot, almost at the museum, I'm stoked. This whole area is super cool. Got an F8 Portofino and then 2 Huracans right there at this driving spot. And I just saw a half-wrapped Urus go by. And here we are. We got a new Lamborghini Urus SE right here. And of course a big statue of the Lamborghini Bull. So exciting. They even have a Lamborghini carpet. Gorgeous Mura. Of course they got the Espada. They also got one of the Periscope Countachs, one of the very, very early ones with the little roof opening for the mirror. How baller is this? A gold LM002. Looks like it's got maybe like an extended fuel tank or something back here. Right-hand drive too. They of course have a pretty cool lineup here. I'm not sure where the Estoque and some of the like Lanzador and all those like weird concept cars are. But I was just looking up, and I guess there's actually a whole nother museum. We got the Centenario, Stradman's pretty much favorite vehicle. Of course, Aventador based. Also, kind of interesting seeing side badging on a Lambo from factory. This one came out in 2016, which is actually crazy. It's already that far back. Then, one of my absolute favorites here, although these three are kind of competing for it, is the Veneno. Only 13 of these made. I don't think I've ever actually seen one of these before, which is not too surprising given how insanely rare they are. I also don't know if the production numbers, like 13, I don't know if it actually counts this one or not. It may be 14 if you count this, but I'm not sure quite how they do the numbers on it. Also, Aventador based. Then right here, also another Lambo I've never seen. This is the Sesto Elemento, the sixth element for carbon. This is actually based on the Gallardo. So this basically came out before the Huracan. The way they do a lot of these cars is essentially they make a super limited production, crazy expensive car as essentially a for sale concept car. They rarely actually do concept cars. So this was basically the Huracan predecessor. So they took the Gallardo chassis and made it look like a Huracan. This one is, I forget how much it weighs, something like 2,600 pounds, despite having a tuned V10 over the normal Gallardo. So it's ridiculously fast. Even just like all the weight saving details, everywhere you look, it's just about as extreme as it gets. It'd be fascinating if they did this again. The only problem is they'd almost definitely try to make it hybrid for some reason. Love the taillights on this. And then we get the Reventon. Same concept here, roughly. This is the essentially concept car for the Aventador. So this is actually based on a Murcielago. I think there's 20 coupes and 20 roadsters. I have actually seen a couple of these before, but they're definitely hard to come by. Another one of these just incredibly impressive cars. For a while, I think when this came out, this is when the Veyron was still very much in production. So this is one of the most expensive cars you could get that wasn't a Veyron. These run today for a couple million. Right here is the Huracan race car, which is cool looking. Maybe not quite as beautiful as some of these other ones. Very, very functional. I'm not quite sure what this is, but some kind of lighted number. Of course, we've got the tiny sliding window and a totally stripped out interior for the GT3 Racing. Tons of carbon. And tons of damage too, actually. Which is well deserved after all its racing. See a piece of rubber right there? Of course, the super quick change wheels and lots of sponsorships. A very impressive piece of kit. And right there is the air connect for the air jacks. Of course, the Urus, which is still only sort of made here. I'm not quite sure how much the assembly is here. I think mostly just like paint and some of the finishing details. Most of this is actually made in Slovakia, which they don't really want to tell you about, which is totally fine. Great production in Slovakia. That's when they make the Cayenne and the beginning of the Bentayga and all that stuff. But these, we've talked about that enough. Of course, we've got the Aventador SVJ. Seen plenty of these around, but they never get old. You can see under there the little openings for the ALA system for turning on and off downforce by adding air through here from the vents right there. Of course, the Aventador just never gets old, especially in a color like this. Here we get the Huracan Performante, same air system for the wing, the ALA system. This is when they first kind of introduced the forged carbon. All of that gold painted V10. They have some nice specs here for sure. And this beautiful machine right here is the Lamborghini Gallardo. I think this is a Squadra Corsa, which I think the 2014, Squadra Corsa, the last version of the Gallardo before they started the Huracan production. You don't see these too much on the road anymore. I think because they become more of a collector's item. And then here, Murcielago SV. Very rare car, though not as rare as those. But these run for I think over $1 million now, which is wild, but totally deserved. Much, much lower production of this than the Aventador SV, and just one of the best looking cars ever produced in my opinion. These are just totally worth the money, even if it is insanely expensive. And then Lamborghini Diablo GT. Love the roof scoop. They were ahead of their time with that. McLaren's been copying them ever since. And manual too, which is so cool. I think this is the last of the Super V12 Lambos with the manual. Though I might be wrong. Maybe the Murcielago might have had it for the SV, but I don't think so. Then over here, we got the other Countach. Downstairs we have the original Countach, but this is the LP800-4 2021 Countach, which I think they made, I want to say 110 of. Don't quote me on it. Or do, I don't care. Quad exhaust. These are really cool looking. I'm not the biggest fan of them using the Countach name twice, but it is at least an incredibly awesome car. And last but not least up here, we got the Lamborghini Sion. I've seen actually quite a few of these. All the dealers I went to in SoCal a couple years ago all had at least one of these. I think it might have been like 63 Coupe 63 Spider, and I believe it was this car that was the first introduction of a hybrid system for them, which is a big move. Obviously they've moved to pretty much everything having that now. Well, not everything, but a lot more of their cars, the Revuelto and the Huracan replacement. And the Sion is also essentially the concept car for the Revuelto. A lot of that same pointy back, and the way the nose is on it is basically just the precursor to the Revuelto. I think this one actually looks better than it. So that wraps up the Lamborghini Museum. Very cool museum. I was a bit bummed to not see the Estoque, the four-door sedan concept. I've wanted to see that for years, but I guess they rotate things through. And it's overall a little bit of a small place, but still definitely a very cool place to visit. And only place that I know of you can see the Sesto Elemento, which is pretty awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me, checking out, unfortunately not really the full Pagani experience, but a little bit of Pagani and the Lamborghini Museum and a little bit of the area around it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Now, to finish off with a beautiful sunset